Welcome to Unit 4 of Real Shanghai Mathematics Practice Book 1.2. This consists of 6 parts, and let's begin with the first part. So the first part within this is adding and subtracting tens to or from two-digit numbers. So it's getting familiar with two-digit numbers and what can be done with them. So question 1, add or subtract, take care with the signs. So 32 plus 10 is 42, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, the numbers that are added are all in the tens, so it should be fairly straightforward. So your child should realize that when you're adding, you're just adding the tens because there's nothing to add from the ones. And same thing in terms of takeaway. So 67 take away 30, then you don't have to worry about the ones. Then you concentrate at 6 take away 3 in terms of tens, and that's 30. Or 60 take away 30 is 30. And the sevens remains there. So 67 take away 30 is 37, and so on and so forth. And 7 plus 90 again should be fairly straightforward. Number 2, write these answers in the boxes. 80 plus 17 again should be straightforward. These additions, so you can add the ones first. Probably a good habit to get your child in the habit of adding the ones first and then the tens. So you add 0 plus 7 is 7, so you put 7 in the ones, and then the 8 plus 1 is 9, and so you put that there, so it'll be 97. And then 36 take away 20, same principle. 6 take away 0 is 6, and 3 take away 2 is 1, so it'll become 6 in the ones and 1 in the tens, and so that becomes 16. Question 3, find pairs, draw lines to match calculations that have the same answer. So if it's straightforward, they should be able to connect it together, or with many of them, they will probably need to work out the answer. And again, it should be straightforward because a lot of them have the tens in there, so it's about concentrating on the tens and leaving the ones as it is. So for example, 66 take away 10, we're just subtracting the tens from the 6, and the ones in terms of 6, it remains the same, so that's 66 take away 10 is 56. Writing addition or subtraction sentences to answer these questions. 4a, one addend is 70, other addend is 11. What is the sum? Again, it's not important to remember what addend is. So if your child doesn't remember, then that's not a problem. Just remind them and just say that this just means just adding. So sum means adding, so 70 plus 11. And then again, the minuend and the subtrahend for 4b, not important. The point is difference means subtraction. Difference means subtraction. So sum means adding, then subtraction. So difference is the opposite, which is subtraction or takeaway, and so it's 85 take away 40. So you should need to write 85 take away 40 equals and then work it out. And again, it's a case of just concentrating on the tens, and the ones remain the same because we're subtracting by a whole 10. 5, read the question carefully and answer the question. Poppy made 30 paper flowers and Laura made 27 flowers. How many flowers did they make altogether? So again, is the answer going to be bigger or smaller? Obviously, the answer is going to be bigger because altogether, in which case in an addition. And you need to write the addition there in terms of, so number sentences just means you need to write, for example, 30 plus 27 equals, and then you work out the answer, then you can put the answer there. So it's getting the child to understand that the wordy questions, you do have to do calculations for that, and then you can write the calculations and then work it out. And if your child is very good and doesn't need to do the subtractions and can do it in the hand, that's not a problem. It's about getting the right answer, and it depends on your confidence of your child. Moving on to part 2, which is adding and subtracting a one-digit number to or from a two-digit number. So again, more practice, but this time the ones are being taken away. So in this case, 32 plus 3. So you keep the tens as it is, the 3 stays there, and 2 plus 3 is 5. Again, concentrate on the ones first. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and then 3 in the tens, so it's 35. If a child doesn't do it that way, or he just gets the right answer, he's familiar with it, it's not a problem at all. Write the missing numbers in the boxes. Use your preferred method. Question number 2. So 23 plus 4, 3 plus 4 equals 7, and the 20, you add that there, so that's the preferred method. And then 31, 8, 21 plus 8, again 1 plus 8 equals 9, and then the 30 plus 9 equals 39, and so on and so forth for the other ones. And subtraction, again showing you the first one. So you first concentrate on the ones, subtract that, and then you can leave the tens as it is and then add that together, because the addition or subtraction is with a 0 tens for the second one, because the digit 8 doesn't have any tens. So it's saying 0 tens and 8 ones. Question 3, write the answers in the boxes below. 74 plus 4, again should be straightforward. And with addition, as we've said before, 3 plus 44 is the same as 44 plus 3. So it should be straightforward. However, with subtraction, you have to do it in order. And these should be fairly straightforward because there's no borrowing from one of the tens. You're not taking it to another 10. It's simple calculations. Like 24 take away 4 would be 4 take away 4, which is 0, and then the 20 still remains there. So it's 20 plus 0, which equals 20. Again, if your child needs to write these steps down to be able to do it, not an issue initially, but over time they should get familiar to a stage where they don't need that. And as mentioned previously, they definitely should not be using their fingers anymore with any calculations now. Only time they use fingers maybe later on will be when they begin to do a times table, but not for addition or subtraction. No more fingers are to be used. Question 4, read each question carefully and work out the answers. There are 58 cards in the car park and 5 cars left. So 5 cars left, then is the answer how many cars going to be more or less? If it's going to be less, then what do? We do subtraction. So 58 take away 5 and so on and so forth. How many pairs are there in total? So they're going to be more or less, they're going to be more, so that's an addition. And moving on to the next page, page 36, look at the pattern to help you with these additions. So 7 plus 6, and you work that out. And again, a reminder for these ones, you do 7 plus 3 plus 3. Okay, child should be doing it that way, not using their fingers. If they've forgotten to remind them, that's the way to do it. And you need to watch them and get them to do it again and again. Initially, they may think, and you might find that this is slower than counting the fingers, but once they get familiar with it, they'll get much quicker, and it's a much more reliable and quicker way of doing it rather than relying on your fingers. And then 7 plus 6 is, as I said, 13. They should work out. And then 17 plus 6 is 23. 27 plus 6. So this seeing the pattern between that and going up in terms of tens, and the endings plus 7 plus 6 is 13. So the endings will always be 3 at the end. And then if they see patterns, then fine. If they don't see a pattern, it's not an issue as long as they're getting the right answer. 48 plus 5, your preferred method. Again, we need to concentrate on the ones first. So it's 8 plus 5, how much that is. And if they, for that, they do 8 plus 2 plus 3. So that's 13. And then add 40 to that. So that'll be 40 plus 13, which is 53, and so on and so forth. And then calculation for question 3, 34 plus 7, again 34 plus 6, and then plus 1. So we take these to the tens. So previously, where we took it just to a 10 because there were single digits, this one we take it to the tens. Whether that's when it's addition, take it to the higher 10, and when it's subtraction, we take it to the lower tens, as you'll see later on. Question 4, again, write equal, greater than or less than, and your child may need to do some calculations, or if it looks straightforward, then they can just do it like 64 plus 65 plus 7 and 7 plus 65. We know that those are going to be the same without even calculating, because addition, whichever way you do it, the answer is the same. 65 plus 7 or 7 plus 65. When adding numbers together, the order does not matter because it's the total, and for that they will be equal, and so on and so forth. Question 5. This table shows the numbers of vehicles that use the car park from Monday to Thursday. Complete the table by filling in the blanks. So there's total. So when total means addition, so we're adding. Again, total, they should be familiar with that term. They're not just say total means altogether, and altogether means numbers get bigger or smaller. They clearly get bigger, so we do addition. Question 1 on page 38. Look for patterns to help you subtract. Again, 13 take away 8. So this one we should be doing 13 take away 3, take away 5. And so the answer should be 5. And then the same we do for that. And we look for patterns again. When you subtract 8, just showing you that the endings will be with 5s when you're going down the column method. And again, if they don't find a pattern, which that's not an issue, as long as they're getting the answers. And over time, the more they do it, your child will naturally start getting patterns that they are useful with. And that's really important because they need to be able to understand that numbers can be manipulated. And that's a very important concept in maths, which they should be getting familiar with slowly by slowly. So 23 take away 6, your preferred method. The method I would prefer is taking it to the tens, which is 23 take away 3, take away 3, and take away another 3 because we take away 6, which case it would be 17. Or 62 take away 8, which is 62 take away 2, then take away 6, and there should be an answer after that. And when you take away 6, you're going to go to the one below it, and your number bonds tell you 6 and 4 goes together, so that'll be 54. Calculate 92 take away 3, again straightforward, take away 92 take away 2, which is 90, and then take away another 1, which would be 89. And question 4, greater than, equal to, or greater than should be written there, and again, as mentioned before, some of these you'll be able to do straight away. Question 5 is similar to the ones previous time, but this is about subtraction because it's how many books are left. So it'll be 57 take away 8, And again, it's a question of 57. Take away 7 and then take away 1 more because we have to take away 8. And therefore, it becomes 57. Take away 7, take away 1, which is 49. Uh, Moving on to the third one, which is adding two-digit numbers. So now it's a combination of working on the ones and the tens, and a variety of them are given here. So question 1 is addition. The 22 plus 34, again start with the 1, so 2 plus 4 is 6. So that'll be written in the ones, and then 2 plus 3 is 5, and that'll be written in the tens, so that becomes 56 because 5 is in the tens and 6 is in the ones. And use the preferred method to work these out, and the preferred method I would suggest is straightforward. 3 plus 5 is 8, 7 plus 2 is 9, and because the 8 is in the ones, we write in the ones, and 7 plus 2 is 9 is the tens, so we write it in there. And number 3, again, addend just means two numbers added together, and sum means total. So again, you can do that there. Question 4, 4 friends are using mental arithmetic to answer questions. So mental arithmetic just means they are doing it in their head. How many mental arithmetic questions did Dylan and Alex answer together? So Alex did 51 questions and Dylan did 42. So altogether is, if they remember, is the total. Total means more. So they did 51 plus 42, and they add that together, and that will be your answer, and you write the answer down. How many mental acts did my answer altogether? And again, it would be an addition there. Moving on to page 42, calculate the following. Again, a variety of different ones. And some of them are now getting a bit more trickier. For example, 38 plus 35. So it's the 8 plus 5, and 8 plus 5 will give you 8 plus 2 plus 3, which is 13. So you put the 3 down in the ones, and you put the 1 in the tens. But you can write the 1 slightly above it, and then it'll be 3 plus 3, which is 6. And then that 1 is still there, so you can write 7. So there's different ways of doing it. But one of the ways that you can start to utilize this will be, let me show you on here. So should we pick another one? Yes, we'll pick another one. So we'll go with 48 plus 19. Okay, so 48 plus 19. Let's write it with a stylus. Okay, so 48 plus 19. As I say, first of all, we work on our ones, and you may need to, child may struggle a little bit with it, so because there's stages to this, so they may need to first of all do 8 plus 9, which is the same as 8, plus we take it to the nearest 10, 2, and then how much more are left? Well, 7 more are left, okay, because these two make 9. So if it's 8 plus 2 plus 7, then that obviously means 17. So in terms of writing it here, 17, so 7's in the 1, so we write the 7 in the 1s, and we'll put a little 1 there at the top, that's in our tens. And then we do 4 plus 1, which is 5, and then remember that 1 written there, so that would be 6. Okay, so that's one of the ways to do it, and I think that's a good way of doing it. And that's what to do, and just to reflect on that when the time comes and you need to do it again. And then moving on to the next question, question 2. 75 plus 19, again, similar method would have to be used. So 5 plus 9, or 9 plus 5, 9 plus 1 plus 4 is 14. 4 is written in the ones, 1 is written there, so that's 7 plus 1 plus 1. So that will be 4 in the ones and 8, 9. 9 in the tens, so that will be 94, and so on and so forth. And then write suitable numbers in the boxes below, which is question 3. 14 plus 16 plus 25. So work them out one step at a time. 6 plus 4 is 10, so the 0 goes there, 1 a little bit on top of that, so 1 plus 1 is 2, and 3, that's 30, and 30 and 25 are more straightforward because we're not carrying anything over, and it should be straightforward from there. This is a new concept. Your child may struggle a little while, but this should be done again and again, so there'll be plenty of practice. So as long as a child is able to do it, even if it takes them a little while with a lot of prompting, not a problem. As I say, the beauty of mathematics in general, and particularly these questions are things that built upon each other again and again, so there'll be plenty of practice. And if you feel that you're moving on to a different topic and they haven't had enough practice, you can always do more practice. But definitely with these things, they'll be doing it again and again, and even number bonds, things like that should be invented because there's so much repetition. And they change the question slightly, which is very good because it keeps them engaged. Question 4, Alex has 15 fantail goldfish and 18. How many altogether? Again, altogether is addition, right? And addition is together. And if your child struggles with those concepts, again, remember, is the number going to be bigger or smaller? When things are together, then it should be bigger. And if they struggle with that, then go with everyday example. So if you had 3 cats and 2 dogs, how many pets do you have altogether? Then they should realize that it's more. And real life examples should help with that. 4B, 57 pupils in year 1, 30 of them are girl. There are how many boys in the class? Okay, so again, questions you need to think about them. So if there are 30 of them are girls and there are 57 altogether, so the answer is going to be more than 57 or less than 57. And if it's going to be less than 57, then it's going to have to be a subtraction. Okay, moving on to question 1 on page 44. So using column method, this is a different way of doing 23 plus 68. It's a column method, which is the common method that is taught in class, and it's what we've done already, but we did it all in a horizontal line, which I think it's beneficial because it removes this step, which I don't think you really need to do. So you can do it the way I've mentioned it, but if you're doing it this way, this is fine as well. So in this case, 23 plus 68, 3 plus 8, so 8 plus 2 plus 1 is 11. So this is 11. So 1 goes on the 1 section, and the 1 we write it below, and then it's 6 plus 2 plus 1, and that is going to be 8, 9. Okay, and if you write it below or write it on top like I did it for the other one, not an issue as long as it's in the ones column. And then there are more examples with regards to that, but I would probably suggest just doing it the method that I've shown you. Not an issue. 4 plus 9 calculations for 4 plus 9 is for question 2, and it should be straightforward. And then they're showing you question 3 how it should be done. Is it right or wrong? So 5 plus 5 is 10, and so there should be 0 at the bottom, which it has, and then there's 1 going in the 10 section, and then you've got 3 plus 4, which is 7, and then 7 plus 1 is 8, so that would be correct. Whereas the next one, 4 plus 8 is 12. There should be a 10th there. 5 plus 2 is 7, but there should be a 10th there, so it should have been 82. So that's incorrect. And then for the below that, write the so if they're incorrect, then write the correct ones. And so you can see some of these are incorrect, including the last 3 look like they're incorrect, and then you write the correct way of doing it. Use column addition to work out the numbers. Personally, if your child is comfortable with the way that I've shown them, just do it that way. But it still should be a good idea if they're familiar with the other method as well, in case there's an issue. So shall we do a quick column method? Okay, let's try column method. So it's similar to this. Let's pick 47. Okay, 47 plus 47. So 47 plus 47. So its principle is exactly the same. It's just an additional step, which, as I say, I don't feel that you really need to do. You can do it all horizontal. 7 plus 7, as I said, 7 plus 3 plus 4, that's 14. So 4 here. Now, if you write the 1 here, or we put 1 here, I've learned there's 1 here. It makes no difference as long as you can write it clearly, so you can remember to have it there. As I say, you could write it here. I don't think there's any harm in that. It's more about getting things right rather than exactly how you do it, because they're all in the one section. 4 plus 4 is 8, and then the 1 here, so that's 94. Okay, so that's how to do this one. And then moving on to question 5, read each question carefully and work out the answer. Newton Bookshop has just received some new books. Here are their title and prices. Dylan expert bought some of the books, and then you're looking at the number of sentences, decide which books they bought, write the correct numbers for each child, then calculate how much money they spent. So Dylan bought and calculation. Okay, so Dylan, it says 16 plus 15, so that must be number 3, Animal World book, and number 5, because those are that one. And so we can just put Dylan bought, and in circle you can put number 3 in circle because that's Animal World, and 5, which is Animal World, and then calculation 16 plus 15, and so on for the others as well. Should be straightforward. Who spent the most? So most means the most amount of money. So look at the calculations, the largest number will be the most, and C, who spent the least, which will be the smallest number from your calculations in 5A. And then D, if you could buy two of the books listed above, which two books would you choose? How much money would you spend? So this is your choice to do whichever calculations you want to do. And then moving on to question 6, which is a suitable exercise really, which is how do we get to, okay, so 6 is a little bit tricky, but still should be able to be done. So you look at the numbers and you can see 8 is in the ones, and at the bottom you got 6. Now from 8 with an addition, there's no way we can get to 6 if we're just thinking about numbers in the single digit. So the only way to get to 6 at the bottom will be by moving into the next tens, which will be 16. And the only way to get to 16 is by adding 8. So you'll have to be 8 plus 8 is 16. And then don't forget that the 1 has to be carried around. So you write the 1, and then it'll be 5 plus 3. 5 plus 3, so 3 goes there because you got the 1s to carry around. And the same principle applies to the next one, which you should be able to work out yourself. 7, how are we going to get to 5? There's no way unless we get to 15. So that's how to do it. But remember, you need to carry your 10s. And then moving on to the next one, which is part 4, which is subtracting a 2-digit number from a 2-digit number. So these are subtractions, and they're starting you off straightforward with question 1 calculations, and then use your preferred method. Again, question 2 should be straightforward, and again, I don't feel you need to do the column method. You can do it straight there, which is 8 take away 2, for concentrating on the ones first, which is 8 take away 2. The reason we do ones first is because the tens can be different, because sometimes you need to carry it, sometimes you need to borrow from the tens. So don't start with the tens first, always start with the ones first. 8 take away 2, which is 6, and then 6 take away 3 from the tens is 3, so that's 36. And so on and so forth. Again, should be straightforward. Question 3, minus 16, that'd be, okay, so minus 5. So that can get a bit more trickier. So 39 minus 16, which will be 9 take away 6 is 3, take away 2, that's 26. Sorry, 23. And then 23 take away 5. So this 23 take away 5 will be 23 take away 3, then take away 2, which is 18. Question 4, read each question carefully and work out the answer. Supermarket has 67 racks, but has now sold 25. So how many stacks again would be more or less? Well, if they sold them, there'll be less. So this calculation is the takeaway. The next question, either apples or pears. 34 contains pears. So apples, is it going to be more than 85 boxes or less? Then clearly it's going to be less. So it's another subtraction. And moving on to page 50, which is a column method. They're showing you again. I've demonstrated that before in terms of addition. Here is about borrowing, and here the way to do it, if I can rub this out, the way I would do it. Which one shall we do first? Okay, so let's do 52 take with 35. So again, you can do it column method, or you can do it straight across, and I generally like going straight across. The quicker you can do things, generally the better. So let's go with 52 take away 35. Okay, so 2 take away 5, we just cannot do it because 2 is smaller than 5, so we cannot do it. So we have to borrow from here. We have to borrow from the 5. So we borrow from the 5, so now the 5 has become 4. And the 1's given to the 1. So this now 1 becomes here. And because in the 1 section now the 1's gone here, this becomes 12. Because in the 1's here has gone to there, and as we know, 10 is same as 10 ones, so this becomes 10, so this is now 12. 12 take away 5, 12 take away 5, well, 12 take away 2, take away 3, that's going to leave us with 7. And then we've got 4 left here, so 4 take away 3 is 1. Okay, 4 take away 1. And that's how you do that for. So let's do another one, but we'll do it with the other method, which is the column method. As I said, I don't see the point of doing a column method, but it's good to know it because sometimes they have written it down like this, so you can do it this way. And again, same principle, really exactly the same, but you're just going downwards, which is 1 take away 9 you can't do, so let's borrow it. So move that to a 3, and we've only borrowed, can only borrow 1/10 at the time, okay, because that's all we need. So we've got 11 here now. 11 take away 9 is 2, so I guess the same as 11 take away. So that's 11 take away 1 take away 8, that's 2. or if you prefer addition, it could be 9 plus 1 plus 1. So that's how to get a 2 there. 3 take away 1 is 2. And so the answer is 22. Okay, and that's how you do it for the others as well. So there's plenty of practice there, including the 16, 19, 90 take away 88. And some of this you might just know it without even calculation. And if you know it and you feel it's a waste of time doing the column method, then fair enough. As I say, the point of it is to get it right. And then question 2, cross or tick, and this has been done before. So in the addition, similar thing. Don't forget 52 take away 16. We have to borrow, so that 5 becomes a 4, and then the 12 take away 6. So 6 at the bottom, which is correct. But because we borrowed the 4 take away 1, so it can't be 4. It would have been a 3. So the answer would have been 36. And then you go ahead and to correct them. Then moving on to page 52, use column subtraction method to answer these questions. So again, it should be straightforward. Question 4: when a bus stopped at the bus stop, 15 people got off. Then there were 36 people left on the bus. How many people were there on the original? So again, you have to think about these questions. Is the number going to be bigger or smaller? So how much were they originally? 15 people got off and the 36 still left on the bus. So originally it's going to be bigger than 36 or less than 36. Obviously going to be bigger than 36. So in which case we're doing addition, 36 plus 15. So B, okay, birds flew away. So this is subtraction. There were 80 shuttlecocks for room, then 40 were lent out. How many shuttlecocks were left? So how many were left? Again, it's subtraction. Emma has 15 storybooks. Poppy has the same number of storybook as Emma. How many storybooks do Emma and Poppy have together? So this is 2 steps. Same as as many as Emma. So first of all, that means they both have 15, and then you can work out altogether by doing an addition. So E 69 year 1 pupil cinema. They were accompanied by 7 teachers. How many teachers altogether? Again, altogether addition. When they arrived at the cinema, each pupil and each teacher had their own seat. There were 18 empty seats. How many seats were there altogether? So again, bigger or smaller. So everybody sat in the seats and there's still 18 left over. So altogether, how many seats? Clearly more number of seats than the numbers of teachers. So it's going to be addition. Fill in the missing numbers. Question 5. Again, maybe slightly tricky, but again, remember you have to borrow. So the 5 has the 5 take away 7 we can't do. So originally it has to be borrowed. So you borrowed from the other number. So whatever that original number is going to be take away 1, and that becomes 5. So that's 15 take away 7. 15 take away 7 is going to be 7 plus 3 plus 5. So that's going to be 8 at the bottom. And the number at the top there, well, how do we get 4? We got 4 by having 2, so that's going to be 6. And remember, we originally borrowed 1, so that's going to be 7. So that's going to be 7. And so we put the answer 7 there. And then you could double check. Okay, 75. So let's see. Borrow that 1 from there. That becomes 6. And then does that work out? Yes, it works out. And so on and so forth for the next one. Again, 8 take away 9 equals 9. That means it's 18. And therefore, it must have been borrowed again. And then moving on to the 5th one, which is adding 3 numbers or subtracting 2 numbers and mixed operations. And again, I would just go, okay, there's not much space here, but you don't have to do the column method. You can just go 3 plus 5 plus 1. So you concentrate on the ones, in which case 3 plus 5 plus 1, 8, 9. And then you work on the other ones, which is 3 plus 1 plus 2, which is 6. So that's 69. And remembering if there's any tens that you need to borrow, then make sure you do write down. So if you do question 3, which looks like you might be borrowing 6 plus 4 plus 9, that's 19. So that's the 9 in the 1, and then the 1 in the 10. So that's 4 plus 1 plus 2, and then the 1 that you already have to add on as well. So that's 5, 7, 8. Okay, and so on and so forth. And question 2, calculations. Again, repetition. So you should be getting good at these. And question 3, use column addition to answer these questions. So use the column method, which I've shown you in terms of 21, 13, 14 written, 21 at the top, then 13, and then 24, and then you go down the column to the addition, and to do it that way. And then question 4, read each question carefully and work out the answer. 16 red balloons, 24 balloons, how many altogether? So this is an addition. 68 chickens in the field, then farmer put 13 more chickens in them, how many more? Again, addition. And using column methods for subtraction, 64 take away 7, then take away 12. Calculated. And then in terms of column method, I think subtractions more than 1 would be very confusing. I would do 64 take away 7 if you need to use the column method to do that first, but they should already know that 64 take away 7 is take away 4 take away 3, which is 57, and then write the column method for 57 take away 12. Okay, or the other way of doing it, if you just want to do it along the line, is say, okay, well, 4 take away 7 I can't do, so I need to borrow. So you borrow from the 6, and that becomes a 5, and so it's 14. So it's 14 take away 7 take away 2. which is 7, take away 2, which is 5, and then you got 4. 4 take away 0 because there's no tens with the 7, and take away 1, that's 3, so that becomes 30, 37, if I remember correctly what I've just told you guys, and so on and so forth. And then number 2, calculation, which is on page 58, 16 take away 8, should be straightforward. These are two-digit numbers that you should already have practiced, and getting familiar with it and different ways of doing it. Again, if your child is getting confusing, always take a step back and say, is the number going to be smaller or bigger? For example, something plus 8 equals 29. Is that going to be bigger than 29 or smaller than 29? It's going to be smaller than 29 because you've added something, then you got to 29. So it's going to be 29, take away 8. Or if you prefer, start with the 8. How do we get to 29? Well, 8 plus 1 is going to give us the 9. So put 1 in the 1 section. And then how many more do we need? Well, we still got the 20s to do, so that we put the 2 in the 10 section. Use column subtraction to calculate the following. Again, I would do it one step at a time. 48 take with 13, work that out, and then go to that. Or if you want to skip the column method, I think there's no harm in that at all. It's whatever you're comfortable with, because we're aiming for GCSE, and in GCSE they don't get fixated on how you do it, as long as you do it and you get the answer right. And so that's more important, really. And as I say, if you're going down the column, they're doing down this row method. Which one shall we do? Let's just do the last one. 90 take away 55 take away 26. But 0 take away 5 we can't do, so we're going to borrow right from the beginning. So we do 8, borrow from that, so that's going to be 8. That's going to be 10. 10 take away 5. So 10 take away 5 is going to be leave you with a 5, and then you got 8 take away 5 is 35. Okay. Then once you've got that, then we do 35 take away 26. Okay. So do one step at a time for that particular one, because if we just do it along the way, 10 take away 5, take away 6, we know we can't do it because there won't be enough left. In which case, there's two-step methods for that one. As I say, if there's any questions, you're getting stuck or your child is getting stuck, then do let me know. Question 4, read each question carefully and work out the answer. There are 50 aeroplanes in the airport, and 17 of them took away, so this would be a subtraction. Spelling test, puppy learned 96 words in 2 days. First day, there's 39 words. How many more in second day? Again, more or less than 96 words less, so it's going to be a subtraction. And write suitable numbers in the circles for question 5 to get the right sum. So 34, and order is very important. So in this case, you're going to do 34 plus 47 plus what number gives you 100. When you got that number, then we can go that number plus 29 plus what number gives you 100, and then you can do the final one, which is left over. And then moving on to column addition and subtraction using a column method. As long as the child's getting it right, then I don't see any issue with that. Sometimes, as I said, you may have to split it up into 2. So you may have to do 38 plus 24, work that out, and then do that bit, take away 18. And calculations, question 2 should be straightforward in terms of, we've covered it before, but obviously your child needs practice and is getting used to these concepts, may take them a little while to work out. And then we've got question 3 there as well. Question 4, read each question carefully and work out the answer. 31 passengers, 16 passengers got off and no one got off. So will there be more or less passengers? Less passengers, so it's a takeaway. Length at 40, so the length 47 books and the 30 still left. So see, how many were they originally? So how much were they beginning? If they give out 47 and they still got 33 left behind, how much were they originally? So this will be an addition to work it out, because it'll be more original. If your child struggles with that, just have coins. It doesn't have to have 47 coins. It's just about the concept. So you can have 7. You can have let's say have 10 coins, right? Yeah, and you say, okay, so I've lent out 7, okay, and I've got 3 left. So how did we work it out? Well, how do we know the original one? 7 add 3, and that's how we do it. So sometimes that's an important concept as well. It's just to get your head around how to do it, and it can sometimes use different numbers rather than using the exact numbers. And then moving on to the last topic itself, which is practice exercise, and this is just really covering the material that's already been covered. So I'm not going to go in much detail unless I feel that the question is a big jump in terms of what's being done, which I don't think it is. Question 1, calculate 47 take away 8 plus 20. Again, 2 steps will be advantage. 47 take away 8, so that's 47 take away 7 take away 1, that's 39. And then after that, do 39 plus 20. And then 9 plus 6, this is number 2, right? Greater than or less than. Again, your child may be able to tell straight away, like 14 take away 5 is clearly going to be smaller than 14 plus 5, so they don't always have to work out the answer. But if they're not sure they can work out the answer, that should help them. Question 3, read each question carefully and work out the answer. Year 1, the pupils in year 1 class 2 stand in 2 rows to do PE. there are 18 boys in row 1 and 15 girls in other row. How many pupils are there in altogether? Okay, so the picture is given there just to give an idea. So the child needs to know now what a row is. So once you explain what a row is, a row. Um, I mean, I'm hoping the parents are familiar with these terms. If you're not familiar, you may need to go on Google and just check them out. But row just means numbers all the way along, and column is the other way around. So this would be a row, and columns are vertically downward and rows are horizontal. So these are 18 pupils here, and then another row will be 15 girls here. So 18 boys there, 15 boys there. How much altogether? So it'd be an addition. And the last one, Dylan and Ravi went to the toy shop. £46. Ravi bought a chess set. Ravi paid for the chess set with a £50 note. How much did the salesperson give him back? So this is about change, and change is about subtraction. So it's 50 take away 39. Dylan bought one. Okay, yeah, fine. How much did the two of them spend altogether? So that altogether just means 46 and 39. And with that, we'll end. Please do like and subscribe and share, put comments and share the material, and that would be much appreciated.